Hey guys, it's me Simone and welcome to Creative Art Journaling. This is a new art journaling series I'm going to start on my channel. Kind of going over the basics of art journaling and exploring new, reasonably priced, or kind of expensive, who knows, art journaling products, and just play along and save some money too while we play. Not have to break the bank to have some fun. So, in this introduction series, I'm just going to talk to you guys about how I started art journaling, what I use, and show you, flip through some of my old art journals with you guys, and kind of just take you along with the process of how I did art journaling back then and how I've grown to what I do now. So I started art journaling back in 2000, and I think it's in here. It actually is here. Where are you? The date somewhere in here. 2011. That's when I started art journaling, and I think I watched a video of somebody using altering a composition notebook to make like by putting pattern paper on it and putting some pattern paper inside of it, and I'm like, oh, I can use an art journal. So that's how I got started with this. But let me kind of just rewind and tell you how I started art journaling. I started art journaling back in 2011. I'm pretty sure I was still either a sophomore back. Even though I was a freshman. I was a freshman back then in high school. Yeah. And I had an extra composition notebook from school that I just didn't use. That was just extra supplies that my parents bought me. And I really wanted to art journal. Back in the day, art journaling was like, it was there, but it wasn't as popular as it is now. There weren't as many supplies as there are now for just art journaling solely. There were supplies, but they were artist supplies or crafter supplies, and they weren't really meant for art journaling, but you could use them. Or there weren't that many things for art journaling. Since I couldn't afford anything, I didn't have a job or money, I altered this composition notebook. I ended up doing something you guys would never do. I went out and I dipped this in water. Yep, you're hearing me right. Until it started to expand. And then I glued 2 or 3 pages in here together and decorated the cover with some book text and paint. When I first started, I started off with brushes like, I still have them in my stash, but literally they're like my scrap brushes because they're really old and dingy. These have glue on them and they're dried and they're not going to come out. So I might just put this in my art journal somewhere. And it has hair on it because I was gluing a little wig for some of the dolls I make. My little art dolls I make. So start with these brushes. These are very hard bristle brushes. Let me show you one that's not here. So really firm bristle brushes. I think they're called hog bristles. I don't remember. Had those, and I had tiny little containers. About let's just say this size. This is just some embossing powder. About this size, full of paint. And I had, I think, 6. I had blue, yellow, red, black, white, and a green. I guess that's 6, right? And that's what I had an art journal with. Just tiny little containers, and those have anything else to do. And magazines and glue, of course. So I started off with this, and that's how I started art journaling. And then, of course, over the time, I ran out of paint, so I had to get more paint. So, what did I do? I went to Walmart and I purchased some paint, but all I had was magazine clippings. Over the time, you see there's a lot of collaging in here. My parents bought me art kits, and so I was in love with that, and so I used the stuff I had in my art kits and add them into this. It's like freshman, sophomore year. No, I'm pretty sure it's sophomore year. Yeah, it's a lot right here. And I got hold of scrapbooking paper and used that in here. A lot of things I added in here I made myself. So I made this. Made that. These are some cards my brother had made. He used to make his own, like, kind of like Pokemon cards, but not. And he would make his own games and stuff. But yeah, I purchased King Company scrapbooking paper, and it was really expensive. I paid 20 bucks for it. Yeah, but I did. I was so upset. Like, the price point was so high. But I didn't know about coupons or anything like that. I don't know if they had coupons. I'm pretty sure they did. They didn't know anything else. I paid full value price for this, and I cut them up and used them in my journal. And I purchased my first set of stamps, the little tiny little alpha stamps you can get from Michaels. At the time they were only like $1, but now they're like $1.50, I think. I played around. My dad purchased me some Winsor & Newton Galleria paints, and I used those in here. I purchased more paints. Just kind of had fun because I didn't have a lot of money to buy anything. I had to play with the things I had. So I had access to construction paper. I had access to markers, paints, and spray paint. This is all spray paint right here. I've never done this technique ever since this. And this is just, yeah. It's silver. But on here it says, goodbye, gray. And then it says on here, y'all don't know if you see it, it says, wait, why are you still here? I couldn't really write on this with the pen. I had to write on the paint. The paint didn't want to stick either. I just kind of had fun because I couldn't afford a lot of things. Just did some scribbling here, jotting down. I wanted to see my journal, like my actual like sit down journal. But I thought it'd be better as a art journal. I access to some stencils my mom had for scrapbooking. This is just it, and it's just tissue, like a paper bag paper. I use a lot of what's it called, Mod Podge in here, and it does not like my. It isn't like here. I love this page. But you can see I didn't finish every page in here. I didn't mark every page, but I did not finish every page in here. Stenciling, drawing. This page is my favorites too. And this is I think it's a wrapping of a flower or something. It's like almost like aluminum foil in a sense. It's kind of what the material is called. Close to represents. It's really shiny on one side and matte on the other side. And so I painted on this side. And I bought more stamps from Studio G. Just had fun. So this is my first official art journal, and this lasted 1 year. I started other journals during that process. I started this one. This is an altered book. This is a kid's book that I altered. I'll show you some pages in here. So it's a children's book, and I painted all in it and everything. But things I should tell you, didn't have any gesso. And this is, of course, paper that comes like when we wrap your flowers up. Didn't have any gesso. All I had was a couple alpha stamp stickers that I would buy. Some stamps from Studio G. That's it. There's no gesso in here at all. I didn't have the money to afford gesso. So all this is just paint on paper. I love this page. And if you could feel it now, there's what's it called? I think either baby powder or a flower. I think it's baby powder. That's in between here because I used Mod Podge. I use netting on here, tape. And I had fun. There's some powder on that page here because I'm pretty sure I used Mod Podge on it. And it's sticking to itself. I used to put in images of people from magazines and then alter them to match my layout. I just had fun, and there's not a lot of products in here, not a lot of things I could use because, like I said, I didn't have the money. So that's book. I never finished it. I will want to. I altered tons of books. This was my second or third one. I think it's the second one I actually almost completed. And this is the first time. A lot of teachers are going to be this way. So, sorry. I actually tried to use this as a sketchbook. Didn't like this. The sketchbook's from Walmart. And it's in the kids section. I don't know if the paper quality is still the same. But it comes with a pocket. I never used it. But this is just what I use. I used a cookie cutter, paint, a lot of masking tape, some cheap stencils I purchased. And I got ideas from other people that I would watch. I cannot find that stamp. I don't know if you see the stamp. I can't find that one. I know where it is. Painted. I got like glitter glue. Hold glitter glue. I made this and completely made it myself. And just had fun with it. There's not a lot of stuff in here. This is some twine I bought. I used pigment ink and just went crazy. My favorite method sometimes was getting the credit card and swiping it. But I always did my pages. This is 2012 right here in August. And my favorite color, this is not like right here, the white you see is not the color. It's this color behind, it's like a pale green. I hate green, but I love that color. That's my only color I like. Tissue paper, I love tissue paper and techniques and stuff. I got myself a hold of stencils from Walmart. They're $2. And I'll show you guys later in the video, in this series. But really reasonable price. I fell in love with them. I used them all I could because I really love them. Ribbon, glitter. I think there's like 2 or 3 pages in here that I didn't finish. But I didn't paint the back of these pages. You can see they're all just plain. But there's no gesso on any of these pages. I just colored on one side. I tried a lot of things. You don't have to just do a traditional book. I did this one. And I didn't finish it. See that? I really love this page. I really like her. I really like her. She's really pretty. Even though her lips are not the best. But, you know, I was practicing. I made buttons from Jelly Belly's videos. This is some homemade stencils and stencil stamps that I made. Cheap ink, paint. I took up her space where I want to draw her eyes, so I just didn't. And this is something to see the inspiration. A lot of times I would purchase things like I sometimes would get things from stores that were on sale, like random things. And this was Halloween, but this date is June, so all the Halloween stuff was on sale and I just purchased it and incorporated it in my book. And this is not finished either. No, just on these pages either. I made tons of books, and this is a book. I made this one too with printer paper, and then like these are some COG chipboard alphas, really old. And there's only like a couple pages done in here. This one's done. And that's it. These are not done. I really like the journal. You gotta feel it. And this one I made using one of Jelly Belly's book techniques of using a cardboard box, zero box, tissue paper. Yeah, I got inspired by other people that I watched, but I really enjoyed just having fun and not feeling like you have to do a certain specific way. But I didn't have many supplies. All of this was either things I print off at my school, we could only print in black and white. Things I made. I bought these little gems from like at the time it was like the 50-cent, 25-cent bin at Michael's. Now it's $1.50 and $2, $3. Sometimes when like the seasons would change. they would sell the stuff, the seasonal things. I had a favorite thing. I haven't purchased any more of it yet. It's glitter paint. It's really nice. This page, I use those stencils I bought from Michael's, but I don't know how I did this page, to be honest with you. I don't know how I did it, but it was my favorite page to do. And when I was done with it, I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, look. And this was done in June. No, actually no, sorry, I said June. No, this is done in January of 2013. Had just fun with it. I remember all these pages. They bring back memories, and I like art journaling. I try to record the process of me doing this, and I was like dead sick. And this was January. I didn't record it. I couldn't. With the camera I'm using right now, it's how old this camera is. This camera's old. But I just had fun, inspired by people's journals, using up my supplies. And the last finished journal I have to show you guys is an altered journal. Let me get it. What's up, my guys? This is a school book that I got at my high school. They had a free section where you can just take out books with you. I use different supplies in here that I purchased. I just really just had fun, you know. Didn't let anything hold me down. Some of these pages are not my favorite. I didn't know all these pages I liked. Like, I messed up on these people's faces, but I messed up her eyes, but I incorporated it into my drawing to make it seem like I did it on purpose. Because I can. Sometimes I was feeling really horrible, or I was upset, and so my pages sometimes reflect that. But this is the only journal I can tell you right now that is gessoed. I realized that I've never really seen people draw like a bald girl in their art journals before, and I still want to draw a bald girl in my art journal. And it just has a quote in here. It says, "You can, you should, and you will start when you're brave enough." I love that. Like, outlining in white. I like that a lot. But in here, I try to do supplies in here because it's got glittery. Yay! Art journal. Sometimes I just explore. Like this is, I was exploring the new texture paste I got. And then this is just gesso. And with gesso I made. Had fun. And that's what I want to do in this series. I hope the video wasn't too long. If it is, I will just speed it up and then stop at this part. I want to inspire you guys to get creative. Try new things. And not have to break the bank to make beautiful art journals. All these art journals are made at my love, heart, soul. Not saying it's not. But if I had to put a price point on these journals, they would be under 30 bucks. Maybe even less. Because the supplies I used in here were so... it wasn't I had to buy everything to do some art journal. It was, I got inspired and I wanted to use something, but working with a limited palette makes you do some things you would never do if you had a full palette. And sometimes I feel people are overwhelmed by all the supplies out there that they don't know where to start or what to do. And it's something that happens to all of us. But if you just start with basic things and slowly start somewhere, anywhere, I want to help you start journaling. You will realize the process of art journaling is not as scary as it seems. So in the next few videos, I'm going to go over supplies. I'm going to go over paper. We're going to make our own book, because I love making my own book. And I'm going to talk about what I like this, what I like that, things we're going to use, and start art journaling. So please join me guys back for this series. Much love and get crafty, guys. Bye.